don't know if I liked the draw.
Okay, why is that? Because that is like an AEW trope. So I'm kind of curious as to why you don't like it.
It kind of made Hangman look like a bitch. I'm interested to see where it goes. I get them wanting to put all three of them in there. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if a draw is necessarily the exact way that I don't know how I think I wanted it to end. I think you always just want to see something definitive. You want to see somebody win. You want to see somebody lose. And a draw is fine, but like Hangman not wanting the 5 more minutes. If it had maybe been, it would have been good to me if they'd done the 5 more minutes and then it's still a draw. Like I would have accepted that.
So like he agreed and it was still a draw.
And it was still a draw. I think I would have liked that better instead of him just saying, "Nah, I'm getting out of here. I don't, I don't necessarily know."
100%. I actually agree with that.
Here's my interpretation of what is currently happening right now with Hangman and with Swerve. So that was a double turn. That's what that was.
That's what I thought it could be.
We saw 2 characters that were going down. And now I don't think Swerve is like completely turned, right? But I know that he is definitely going down that path. But we do know,
But the crowd was very much on Swerve's side.
it's Swerve's house.
Oh, yeah.
It's Swerve's house.
It's
The reason why this
way.
is happening is because the reaction for Swerve Strickland is just so powerful right now.
Sure.
He is he's quickly becoming the face of the company, but also he is quickly just establishing himself as an ace, wrestler as well, which I think is something that oftentimes we forget. It's like technically in the ring, there are very few that are as good as Swerve Strickland is at this point in time. So Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland have hated each other for an incredibly long time, but Hangman has never beat Swerve. And, narratively, as well as for Swerve, it always made more sense for Swerve to defeat Hangman because Swerve came in as like the NXT WWE guy. He got put into a tag team, Swerve in Our Glory with Keith Lee, and they were doing their thing. And then, he like turned his back on Keith Lee, and then he started doing Mogul Embassy. And, he had to like establish himself as like a character. Who is Swerve Strickland, right? And he has found that character. He understands the person who's playing Swerve Strickland, like he knows who he is now. Right. And that is when I think wrestling is truly at its best, when they like have the understanding of the character that they're depicting. That's why Hulk Hogan was so good for so long, because he just knew what he needed to do, right? What his role was. Swerve is in a very similar position. So Hangman has been taking L after L. He's lost a fair bit of big matches. He was the AEW World Champion. He lost it to CM Punk. That was a thing. Then he went back into the tournament to try and win the title. Again, lost on that one. Mox ended up winning. Never really got to that point. Just kept on going. Then was in some tag team stuff and kind of floundering with the Young Bucks for a little bit while they were figuring out what they wanted to do. And now it seems like where they're going is a desperate man looking for answers anywhere he can find it. Sure. And he has identified that this guy who has been a thorn in his side for the longest time just continues to be successful despite him being an absolute shit person, right? And Swerve Strickland. And he's probably like, yo, I'm going to do this myself. And then I also think too, at the other side of it, it's that when you think about it from the narrative perspective, Hangman rather, owed Swerve nothing. He did not need to give him 5 more minutes. Swerve Strickland's made Hangman Adam Page's life a living freaking hell for weeks and months on end on AEW programming. So it doesn't make sense if we want to talk about consistency. Why would he, a guy who now is getting very desperate, who is kind of pushing aside I'm the hero of the story, and he's definitely being more like, yeah, no, I'm going to do this shit. And also, it's good for him because the character needs an adjustment, like it's been years. So just go ahead and mix it up a little bit. That's my take.
Definitely. Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I mean, that character needs a bit of a shakeup.
It was good. It was good for a while.
And I think I'm curious to see kind of where they take, if it was the double turn as the intention, it did feel, which I definitely feel that. It felt a little forced, maybe just a hair. With the walkout and everything like that, to kind of Jake's earlier point. But what I like hopefully we'll see more of what you just said, GB. Hope we'll see that more illustrated, that desperation and stuff like that. So we get this a little bit more of an organic feeling turn.
Well, because I think naturally,
Hangman.
What makes the most sense, and you guys could disagree with this, but I think what makes the most sense is that you need to keep the belt on Samoa Joe. He should not lose his belt at Revolution. I don't think Samoa Joe is a transitional champion. I don't think he should be a transitional champion because, firstly, it's Samoa Joe. The guy could still put on 5-star matches in the ring, 5-star promos whenever he needs to. He's a guy who you really can build around. Also, it helps really establish Joe because I think one of the things that Joe did brilliantly as soon as he won that title, because it almost felt like when Joe won, it wasn't Joe overcame the odds and defeated MJF. No. It was MJF lost his title, and he just so happened to lose it to Samoa Joe. So MJF's story continues onward. We'll worry about that another day. But for Samoa Joe, you needed a reset. You needed to move the belt away from MJF, move the belt away from Adam Cole, move the belt away from Roderick Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom and all this shit for right now, especially because MJF is resting. He needs to heal up. Mm-hmm. I really don't see a reason for Joe to drop this belt at Revolution. And if they do, I will be very disappointed, not just as a fan of Samoa Joe, but as a fan of the story that they're telling here, because it feels like the story they're telling is Swerve Strickland's finally going to get his moment. And they need to build up to that intelligently rather than just going like Revolution, blah, yes. I think that would just be the worst call they could make, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I think we're going to hopefully start to see, again, an organic, maybe a little bit of a build here for Swerve.
Yeah.